you going? Because coming up next is Media News number 160. And in it, you're going to find stories on the return of Kung Fu to the silver screen, the return of Fall Guy to the silver screen. There's too much crap coming to the silver screen. Wild Cards is coming to
the silver screen.
Silver screen.
And so is Hervé Villachez.
The Stand is coming to the silver screen, and Hervé Villachez is back from the dead.
So
My God!
The port can wait.
Stick around.
I need Horn to come to the silver.
Irrelevant, irreverent. I always get those two confused. These two are the reason why. Here's Comic Book Man and JR with Media News.
If you think our expectations are high, you should see our cholesterol. Media News, episode 160. Old problems, new math.
History will say, hello folks, how you doing? Comic Book Man here. Welcome once again to my video outhouse. It's time for this guy.
Media News.
Media News. Media News. And
Yes.
Media News is coming to you from this place, Alternate Reality, which is located at the intersection of 111th and Kedzie, right there in beautiful downtown Mount Greenwood. Alternate Reality, where all new comics are always 15% off every day for everyone. JR, snatch the pebble from my hand. You got it. I'm out of here.
You didn't even try.
And for those of you that don't get that reference, you'll be lost on this story
Because our first story up is the return of
Quachen Kane.
Grasshopper.
Kung Fu. Oh my God. Kung Fu with David Carradine's Kung Fu.
David
the TV
Carradine.
series Kung Fu.
Yeah, so that should have had
Kwai Chang Caine.
Yes, that should have had Bruce Lee in it, but it didn't.
Master Po. Well, he can still be in it now.
Through the magic of digital technology.
Why not? Him.
So could David Carradine.
Do an episode with him and David Carradine together, sitting cross-legged, yelling at each other.
Wow. David Carradine could be the old wise man.
Yes.
And the CG Bruce Lee could be the new. We're getting off on a tangent.
And you could have a hooker strangle David Carradine.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. Well, I'm just saying she could. I'm not saying anything else.
You know, you could have Bill Paxton strangle him. You know why?
Sure.
Because Bill Paxton is directing
Yes.
the feature film version of Kung Fu. You didn't know Bill directed, did you?
No, I didn't.
From Aliens and Big Love.
Big love. I
Star
didn't
Bill
realize he had any talent. He's sort of got that
You mean directing?
directing
James
talent.
Yeah, are you saying he's the poor man's Harrison Ford? Is that
The poor man's Lee Majors.
Game
We have
over?
a next story coming up. Bill Paxton could be in, but we'll
He
get
was
to
in
that.
Titanic.
Game
No, he
over, man.
wasn't. He was
He
in
was
Titanic.
the leader
He
of
was
the ship.
he was
in
the
modern
expedition
story.
going to talk to the old lady.
Titanic. Oh, that's right. He was. That's
Game over, man.
So
James
memorable.
over.
He's in a
So
lot of
memorable.
James Cameron
But
stuff.
he has directed before. He did a film called Frailty and another one called The Greatest Game Ever Played.
Frailty's creepy, nasty.
Creepy, nasty, according to our Jeffrey cameraman. He's doing Kung Fu for Legendary Pictures. Legendary does a lot of the comic book films that
Yes.
from Warner Brothers, the Batmans and the Supermans and all that stuff. You know, I want to see the casting on this bad boy because we're gonna go the David Carradine route again, or what are we gonna do?
That's gonna be one of those interesting things for those of you who don't know. The original Kung Fu was a proposal that Bruce Lee, that's right, Bruce Lee, had made to do a story about a monk who has to move to America because he kills the emperor, and so he's on the run, blah blah blah. That was all Bruce Lee's, and it was taken away from him and cast with David Carradine and Anglo to play the part of the half Japanese. Well, then I don't know if he was half Japanese or half American in Bruce Lee's version.
He's about as much Japanese as Johnny Depp is.
Well, in Bruce Lee's version.
Tonto,
In Bruce Lee's version, I don't know if he was half Japanese and half
Oh, good
American.
point.
But by the time David Carradine got a hold of it, yeah, he had some coffee in his cream there.
Yeah. So to speak.
Some cream in his coffee.
So it's coming your way.
Or some
as a-
rice milk in your coffee.
Yeah. Who's gonna play the Key Luke part?
Oh.
George Takei.
Oh man!
George Takei.
You have got to get George Takei to do something in a kung fu film.
And make
Something.
Sure, make sure he says, "Oh my."
Man.
Moving
You've
along.
got to get George Takei. Moving on, our next story, I've just hinted at it. There's going to be
Another old TV series.
a remake of a TV series, theatrical?
A theatrical version
man.
of
Of
The Fall Guy.
Now, for those of you who don't know, The Fall Guy was a TV series. It was on ABC for like too damn many seasons.
Yeah, it was something like
five
that.
seasons, went on forever. Starred Lee Majors right after $6 Million Man.
Yes, that is correct.
But before Fall Guy came out, there was a little movie called The Stuntman.
Correct.
The Stuntman,
A good film.
which was an excellent film, and it starred Peter O'Toole
Yes.
as a director, not the
The
Stuntman.
director, but it was he
Yeah.
played in Private Ryan.
What?
He played Charles Manson.
Okay.
the actor, the lead actor, played Charles Manson in a made-for-TV movie.
Yeah, I know you're talking about.
The tagline to that movie was the director saying, "If God could do the things that I can do, he'd be a happy man."
Exactly.
Anyway, the stuntman was sort of the template for the Fall Guy.
Yes.
Because the Fall Guy was all about a Hollywood stuntman, and that's pretty much what the stuntman was.
Well, he was a stuntman. The Fall Guy was a stuntman by day and a bounty hunter by night, and he had his little team of people, including that blonde girl. Remember that blonde?
I remember
girl?
the blonde. I remember.
Yeah, she fell off the face of the earth after that show. But the two guys, and you know, there may be promise here because Ashley Miller and Zach Stentz, who wrote last year's Thor and X-Men First Class, are writing the screenplay. Okay, so that has a little bit of a shot there. The director is Martin Campbell, fresh off of the worldwide resounding success of Green Lantern.
Oh, God.
So you know, Glenn Larson could come in and not like this version of his old show too.
Great, wonderful.
So there it is.
Okay,
and Bill Paxton could play the Lee Majors role. I know that's what you were getting.
Yes,
at earlier.
I was talking before. Bill Paxton would make a great Fall Guy in the Fall Guy movie because he has that same wooden, monotone, stiff performance that Lee Majors has, which Lee Majors stole from Gary Cooper.
Gary Cooper. Yeah.
It's a straight through line. Gary Cooper, Lee Majors, Bill Paxton.
There you go.
Your through line.
There it is.
Blocks of wood. Redwood, oak,
mahogany,
elm.
Yeah, there it is.
Right there.
Wow.
And you can build a boat out of all of them.
You got yourself a living room set right there.
Living room set. Next up, J.R.R. Malton. What the hell's his name again? George R.R. Martin. R. Martin. He's best known for Game of Thrones right now, which is on HBO. But he has done many, many other books, one of which is the comic book inspired Wild Cards, which was Watchmen before Watchmen.
Or X-Men-ish. Our esteemed cameraman Jeff would know more about this. He's a Wild Cards reader and fan.
What do you want to know?
It's 22 books at this point, from what I know.
When did it first come out?
I tell you, it started around the early 90s.
Early 90s.
Oh, then
it was all based on
X-Men. X-Men was long before.
It was all based on mutation, though. It was, you mutated into something weird, something super powerful, or it killed you. That was the virus. The three things it did.
Alien virus, yes. In New York City, the survivors are split into two classes.
Well, it took everybody's story. It was anthologies. Different authors wrote different takes. All those books, George R.R. Martin actually edited all of those.
I see. All right.
You had quite a few. Zelazny wrote some. Snodgrass wrote some. In the beginning, they were much better than they had become later.
Here's the downside to this story. Well, first off, it's going to be made into a feature film. Okay. They're going to take a couple of the stories and adapt it into a feature film. The bad news is the people making the feature film. There is a television network out there, Comic Book Man, who is branching out into motion pictures.
CW.
No. That would be the Sci-Fi Channel. Their first project.
I'm out of here. I'm done. I'm done.
Krakosaurus and Octopotty Mouth.
Yeah, exactly. They are going to make a quote-unquote moderately budgeted Wild Cards feature film.
Oh, shoot it now. Shoot it in the head now.
There's been half-assed attempts at comic books that have been the same way.
I
Miserable
suppose,
artwork,
but
lousy story.
You know, and I just read a thing where Sci-Fi Channel just came off of their most viewed quarter in their history.
What are you watching?
What are people watching? That's what I want to know.
There's nothing worth watching on Sci-Fi. There really isn't.
Giant mutated snake and alligator movies can you sit through? Really, their most watched quarter.
It's a new generation, right? It's got to be a different demographic.
You know, I have said
it can't be our demographic.
I have said before, I have no problem with B movies and them doing Crocosaurus and stuff like that. I have no problem with that stuff.
If it's funny, that's fine.
If it's entertaining.
And if it's funny, if it's entertaining, if it's cheesy, if it's cheap, if it's got all that stuff, that's fine. But you know what? They don't do anything else. No. They don't do anything of any worth. They did the Dune thing.
Do you remember that they tried that like 15 years ago? They tried to do that, and they even got Emmy nominations for that thing, for God's sake.
Oh, no, you don't.
And that was it. That was off the skids.
Well, the Emmy nominations was it killed it. This is too good. We got to stop this crap.
This is madness.
Instead of we're the Sci-Fi Channel, instead of mining all this sci-fi material that's out there in novels and everything to make into TV series or movies or whatever, no, we have to make.
There's a plethora of stuff out there that's never been touched.
And Debbie, whatever her name is, Debbie Gibson fighting giant octopuses.
If they did just 2 or 3 high-quality projects a year and ladled it on with a bunch of crap around it, that'd be great.
You'd have some
credibility. That'd be great. I could respect them more, but they don't. All they do is Stegosaurus.
It's lazy.
It's lazy. And Mosquito Man and all this.
Mansquito.
Mansquito.
Right.
Mansquito. I'm sorry. Mansquito and Mansquito 2.
Yeah, Electric Boogaloo.
Electric Boogaloo.
So there it is. Sci-Fi Channel.
Next story up. We've talked before about Dark Tower, which is back from the dead. Check the last media news we did if you don't believe us. Also coming from Stephen King is another book that Marvel Comics does based on the Stephen King series of novels. And that series?
It's one giant book. It's one giant.
I thought there was more than one.
No, he actually, the book originally came out. We're talking about The Stand for those of you. We don't want to keep you guessing.
No, that's just one book.
Let's just talk to ourselves. So anyway.
By the way,
How did you get
I was
in here?
thinking of getting some fried chicken on the way home. But The Stand, which started off as like an 800-page book, 10 years later, King went back and threw in a bunch of stuff he had cut out originally and made
Maybe
it
that's what I'm
1,000.
thinking of. Maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
Warner Brothers has the rights to do. It's already been a miniseries for ABC television. They're going to do a feature film. Warner's going to do a feature film. And the big news is Ben Affleck is the front runner to direct the feature film, which is a really good choice. Affleck is shown to be a really fine director with The Town, and he had another film last year. But he can do small ensemble pieces. This would be a giant ensemble piece. Yeah. I don't see how you're going to do this as a feature film unless they're thinking franchise and they're going to do this thing as like 5 feature films. It's a humongous book.
Have they said anything about just being 1 film or 3 films or anything?
They haven't said. It's just an adaptation of Stephen King's The Stand. That's all.
Well, they might announce it's going to be 3 films or something. Especially with the Dark Tower thing. They might look at that and say, we can get 3 films out of this. Without watering it down.
Interesting point. They may be looking at how that will play out, and if that works, the Dark Tower thing, this could become something that'll happen more often.
I'm just pretty sure that one
giant novel
wouldn't hold it.
No, you can't possibly do this as one feature film. It's not going to happen. But you remember, it's a virus that wipes out America.
It's another virus. Everyone gets killed. There's only a handful of people left.
There's an Antichrist character, Randall Flagg.
He's in Vegas.
Yeah.
And then the other people end up in Boulder, Colorado.
I tried to read that book. I tried. I got about 300 pages into it and I abandoned it because I didn't.
Well, watch the miniseries. I hear it's pretty good.
I tried to watch that too.
Read the Marvel Comics series.
There
it's great.
you go. Actually,
it's right over there.
That's been a really good adaptation.
And our last story up is JR's favorite story of the week.
Oh,
and it's.
It makes him happy.
I love this. It makes me grin from ear to ear.
JR, explain to us what My Dinner with Hervé is.
Oh, My Dinner with Hervé, comic book man. We'll star Dominic Cooper, who played Howard Stark in Captain America. We'll be playing a reporter who interviewed the late, great Hervé Villechaize just before Hervé committed suicide. Yes, this is going to be a biopic of Hervé Villechaize starring Peter Dinklage from Game of Thrones.
Well, you're going to have to get a little person.
He's not the only
or a dwarf or whatever they want to call him.
He is your go-to dwarf. Right
your go-to dwarf.
Peter Dinklage.
He's your number 1 dwarf.
Well, you got what was it, Oscar nomination or
he won an Emmy.
Emmy nomination.
He won an Emmy, not just a nomination.
Oh, Emmy. Okay. That makes you the go-to guy.
He went down with
but this will be a...
That is a pain in the ass to live with.
Independently produced...
They said it was pretty good then. I don't know about now.
Independently produced biopic of Hervé Villechaize that will cover his later years and what led to his eventual suicide. For those of you that don't know, Hervé played the character Tattoo on the 70s TV series
Fantasy.
That's
what he's best known for, but he also did James Bond, Man with the Golden Gun.
Man with the Golden Gun.
What did they call him?
Knick-Knack. He was also in a movie called, I believe it was not The Wrestler. It was a wrestling movie with Henry Winkler.
Oh my goodness gracious!
The greatest something in the world or something.
Wow.
Which was a passable little movie. It wasn't anything great. It wasn't any great shakes. It was all about Gorgeous George, the wrestler.
I am just amazed that there is somebody out there who funded a biopic of Hervé Villechaize.
Yeah, me too.
It blows my mind.
Dinklage isn't the same carriage at all. I mean, he doesn't have the same.
No, and Dinklage is a really good actor. I mean, there's the whole baggage with the whole. With his size and all that, but he's a very good actor. He's done other films that he's been very good in. But I mean, it's unreal to me that this somehow got a green light. It's not a TV project, but as a feature film, pretty amazing.
Okay, that's it. We're done. We're finished right here. We got no more media news, but you can go to the store's website, check out all the media news that Bo sends me that I post up there. And where is the store's website?
Hervé Villechaize knows.
It's in
www.myultimatereality.com. Just chock full of fiber.
So, stop off at the store's website. Check out all of the media news that Bo sends me that I post up. Until next time, JR.
Yes.
This is you.
It's me.
And until next time, this is
you. Him. Comic book man.
Saying, bye.
Don't get it confused.
The Video Outhouse is brought to you by some of the finest people willing to work for free. This is a list of some of them.